Come on, guys. Perfect, guys. Now, welcome to Toronto. I gotta say, welcome to NostalgiaCon.
Oh, great to be in Toronto again, isn't it?
Oh, it's fine. One of our favorite cities. Terrific fans, and thank you for having us.
Now, I gotta say, I overheard you say, wow, we're in a ring. So, how does it feel being back in the ring?
A little tough getting in here nowadays. It seems like the apron coming in is shorter than what we used to have.
I gotta say for sure. Now, let's start off with this. Since we're all Canadians here, well, everyone else, first thing that comes to your mind when you think of Canada?
I think of hockey.
Hockey.
I love hockey, but I love hockey.
I actually think of Toronto because when my early part of my career, one of my first series of matches was in Buffalo, Toronto, Hamilton, and that area.
Now I gotta say let's talk about the making of Demolition. How did that all come about?
Well, Randy Colley, I think fans remember him. He was the original Smash. He had come up with the idea and approached me. And we had 2 matches. And unfortunately for him, everybody recognized it. So I knew the gimmick was gonna go, but it wasn't gonna go with Randy. He stepped aside. I went to Japan and then Burial together.
Yeah, so I was working in Crockett's territory down in Charlotte, and I had a falling out with the promoter there, and I was taking some time off, and I was going to try to go to Japan. In the meantime, Earl Hebner and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, they talked to Vince McMahon and told him about me, and next thing you know, Vince is calling me. I made a trip up to Connecticut, met with Vince, and then that's how I became Smash. And it had to be all okay with Bill that for me to be his partner, and he okayed it, and that's how we all got together. And that was 36 years ago? 37 years ago.
And counting.
And we're still here.
Got it, for sure.
Thank God we're still here.
Exactly, still kicking. I gotta say now, when you guys debuted with Mr. Fuji, because you guys obviously started off like Demolition, but everybody thought of you guys more like as a obviously heel, but people loved you. You guys were a face. But when he joined you guys went to straight heel. How did that all come about with Mr. Fuji?
Well, we had Johnny Valiant was our manager to start with, and we wanted to be a serious mean team. And with his promos and everything, he was kind of a joker, it didn't make us very serious. And we thought, who could we have that would make us a heel? And that's when we went to Vince, and we told Johnny too that we were going to do that because he didn't think it was a very good fit either. And Vince said right away, he says, I think we're going to put Fuji with you guys. And that's how that became. And Fuji ended up being a great manager for us.
Now I gotta ask yourself, is there any fun memories with Fuji?
Well, all positive. I mean, Fuji actually was a manager and a mentor. I mean, he had been very successful as a single and then as a tag and also managing people. And he would be real constructive in his criticism, but it was building our team. Eliminate this, don't do that, well, that looked great, continue that. So he was instrumental in telling us what we should and shouldn't do.
And also, he was really a fun guy. We traveled together, it was Bill and me and Fuji, and then a lot of times we'd have Tito Santana with us, or Cowboy Ron Bass, or whoever traveled with us. And Fuji was always the guy that would pick out the restaurants that we go to. So we were at every Chinese restaurant all over the world. And we kind of got sick of the Chinese restaurants, but you couldn't say no to Mr. Fuji.
Exactly, legend.
And the funny thing was, when we hadn't seen him for many years, and we did a signing with him he was starting his difficulty with dementia. And we were talking to his son, and we were talking about the Chinese restaurants, and he says, he hates Chinese food. He hasn't eaten for 10 years.
That was probably the rib that he pulled on us all the time.
It's a character.
He was like that. He would go all out with the rib, even if it hurt him. So he probably hated Chinese food too,
What a legend. Okay, so let's talk about now your iconic theme song. Like everybody just growing up with it, like even till today, it still gets everybody amped. Like how did that come about? Because I believe so Jimmy Hart was the creator of that song.
Yeah, he was. And in fact, we didn't have a song right away. And Jimmy came to us in the dressing room one day and said, we're going to create a song for you guys, and this is going to be just incredible. And we were kind of like, yeah. But he ended up...
Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Gardens. And then we heard a little bit of the music, but we didn't hear any of the voice, the singing with it. And he said, yeah, Rick Derringer's going to sing this. So then all of a sudden we walked out. The first time we heard it was going through the curtain. It was like, oh. So it was really good.
There's a cute story because my youngest daughter, was still in high school at the time, and she was riding the bus. So the bus driver knew who she was and who I was. So as they picked her up, they had a tape. Every time they picked her up, they put the music in and blasted her. After about 6 months, she said, Daddy, I hate this.
I want to drop out. I gotta say now, 87 era to 91 has to be hands down one of the most talented tag team division just eras in WWF in general. How was that? Like, who were your favorite matches or your favorite tag teams that you guys went against?
Oh, we've been asked that question many times. Many times today. There were so many good teams at that time. The Hart Foundation, the Bulldogs, Haku and Andre, the Brain Busters, Tito and Martel. We couldn't have a bad night. I mean, they could put anybody in there, and they were all main event guys.
We were very fortunate that at that time it was the greatest tag teams around. So it was hard to have a bad match with anybody because everybody was so good, and everybody worked together, and that's what kind of made that territory was the tag teams. And it's kind of hard to watch now when you don't have these tag teams that have been together for years. It's like they just throw people together, but we had a lot of fun with the tag teams we worked with.
I gotta ask, who were your favorites to go up against?
There were just so many difficult. I suppose the Hart Foundation or the British Bulldogs. I mean, they just Brain Busters. We just had chemistry with everybody. It was a lot of fun.
How about for yourself? Same.
Yeah, same. I mean, like I said earlier, it could be Martel, it could be Strike Force, it could have been the Can-Am Connection, the Killer Bees, the Stallions. I mean, there were so many teams. We just enjoyed every night. We went out with the mindset that we're going to have the best match on the card that night. Sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't, but most of the time, I think we were successful.
And one of my most memorable times was here in Toronto, the Skydome, Andre and Haku, and they were both really good friends of ours. So that was fun working with them all the time too.
Yeah, I guess now you're talking about WrestleMania. Let's go down the path of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 4, first Strike Force. That was your first WWF tag team titles you guys won together. How was that moment?
Oh, it was great. I mean, just coming and getting the opportunity to be one of the Demolition was huge. But then being able to take the titles against those two guys was incredible. And a funny story was, so we're gonna beat them. Axe is gonna hit Tito, or no, it's Martel. They hit Martel with the cane and break it over his back. Well, beforehand, Fuji was gonna kind of cut the cane a little bit so it would break. Well, one of the first ribs he played on this, he didn't do that. So when Bill came to hit Martel in the back, he hit him and it didn't break, and it was like, and you could hear Martel go, what I mean? So, but I mean, it was great at Trump Plaza and, all the people and everything. It was quite a day.
Seen to for sure. I gotta say now, we're talking about Toronto. You just said WrestleMania 6 here. It's like, I gotta say now, we all know it as now the Rogers Center, but it was the Skydome back then. So just let us know the feels of going into a stadium like that, jam-packed against Andre the Giant, which is like huge. And how cool, how was that?
Well, the larger the crowd, the easier the atmosphere. And, you know, of course, WrestleMania, that was a gigantic one. And they're getting bigger and bigger every year. It's a lot easier when the place is packed because of the fan reaction. So that was a memorable event too. I mean, just to be in that building and be part of it.
You know, and then what's strange about it too, though, that when you're in the ring and you pick up somebody and you slam them in the ring, and you can start hearing all the people cheering or booing, whatever, it continues on for 2 or 3 seconds. All of a sudden you hear the people way up in the top row, so you kind of got to wait a second before you do the next thing. You got to, you know, because otherwise you're hearing booing and cheering the whole time. So it's a little strange when you get those big crowds like that.
And I gotta say, because since we're in Canada, everybody loves Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation. You guys went up against them SummerSlam 88 and 90. How was that against them?
Oh, that was great. You know, we still talk to Bret, and Bret's a really good friend of ours, and I was partners with Jim Neidhart, you know, a few years back before that. So when you're in the ring with your friends, I mean, it's a great feeling, and you just have a good time in the ring. You know, there's no pressure, and you know you're not going to get hurt because these guys are going to take care of you. So it was great with wrestling those guys.
Now I gotta say now, this is a great story. Royal Rumble 89, number 1, number 2 entry. How did that come about?
Well, we were talking earlier, I mean, at that point, it was random. Now I don't know, I can't say how they did, but I pulled number 1 first. And I forget what you had mentioned, because he was preparing for later on. And when I was going to the ring, I heard the music, of course, then I got in the ring. I thought they made a mistake because the music went down again. I figured, well, the music guy made a mistake. He's playing my music again, but where comes
Well, yeah, and you know what was strange was, you know, they kind of tell you when you're going to go, or you know when you're going to go out, or whatever they're going to do, and they never really told us.
Yeah.
So we were sitting back there, and well, you know, what the heck? Because we've always, you know, our whole lives in the business, it was always last minute. They never told us what to do. It's just you go out in the ring and you do it. So it's kind of that same situation. And when the music came and they said, Max, you're first, you know, I laughed. You're going to be out there alone.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting around talking to somebody else, and the music came, and then it was like, yeah, Smash, it's your turn. So, yeah, and then when we got in the ring, we looked at each other and was like, well, what are we going to do? And I thought, well,
Showtime.
let's go at it, you know.
Love it.
I still got a sore jaw from him.
Now, Axe, I gotta ask, you're one of the first to power slam Andre the Giant, which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I was the first one. I think a fellow Canadian, Jonathan was the first. And then I think Mulligan. But I was fortunate enough to work on Andre years ago, before WWF, before WWE, and then we got into it. And you weren't going to sign Andre unless he liked you and wanted you to. So I take that as a great honor.
Like I say, Smash, you went to school, which I've heard, Kurt Hennig and Rick Rude. I don't even want to know what happened in the hallways, like with you three together. How was that?
Well, you know, I knew them, and I grew up right down the block from Rick Rude, so we're good friends. But in school, I never saw them really. But they were both really great guys, and you know, Kurt's always been kind of the upbeat guy and always exciting and ribbing people and all that his whole life. Where Rick was a little bit more serious of a guy, but great guys, and they just passed away way too early.
Exactly. Now I gotta say, now on to becoming the Three with Crush. How did that come about?
Well, I'll let Phil tell that story.
Well, I had been going back and forth to Japan probably for 15 years at that time, anywhere from 8 weeks to 15 weeks a year. And the way the doctor explained it to me, I had consumed shrimp and shellfish, which has iodine, and it stays in your body. So I had develop a toxic level of iodine. And then I had a dinner just before WrestleMania where we had shrimp and lobster, and just that one extra piece threw me over a toxic level and an anaphylactic reaction. And of course they panicked, and they'll bring crush in as a replacement. Instead of giving me 4 weeks or 5 weeks off and Barry 4 or 5, no, they gotta change it, do this, that. So they bring Crush in, thrust him in there, and not against Crush, but I think most of the people, it wasn't the same team. So there wasn't anything negative about him. But when you think of originals, no matter what it is, the original automobile or team or whatever, if it's not the same, it can pick it apart.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Crush was just a great guy. So he was a fun third member, and we had a great time with him. And once again, passed away way too early.
Now I'm gonna ask you now as well. You went up against him as a Repo Man at Wembley. How was that?
That was exciting. It was, like I was saying earlier, when you're wrestling your friends like that, it's a pretty neat deal. And Wembley Stadium was just a huge building, and it was a little strange going against your partner like that too. I mean, he was a different character, and I was a different character, but it was a lot of fun. Now
I'm gonna ask now, the elimination tag matches at Survivor Series, when you were teamed up with it, just like, was it Hogan, I believe? Jake the Snake? It was at Survivor Series?
Yeah, that was that was in Chicago.
Yeah, how was that, teaming up with icons like that?
Oh, it was great. And they're two good guys. We still see them on the road a lot. And in fact, we were with Jake just a couple of weeks ago. But a funny story about that, we were in the dressing room, and Jake had a snake that was probably, it was longer than what this ring was. He had a head on it, about this big. And so Hulk came in and he says, "Hey guys, let's go check out the snake, and we're gonna carry it out there, all 4 of us." And we got into the shower where the snake was, and the snake came up and was like this, and had a head on it and was ready to bite, And Jake got a hold of him, and we all got the snake, and was just kind of throwing us around. And right away, there ain't no way we're bringing this to the ring. Because if it got out there and got loose in the crowd, you couldn't
control it, yeah, exactly.
So then we had a backup snake that was about half that size, and that was almost as bad. But I don't think they even threw it out on the map. And then you got to thinking later on, the Bulldogs were in that town, so they probably would have been taking them to doing something.
Teasing it for sure.
Yeah, teasing it to get a little riled. Yeah, it was great.
And the snake got loose. The snake got loose and went up into the rafters.
Get out of here.
And they didn't find the maintenance guy. Found it 3 or 4 weeks after that. Yeah.
I love it. I gotta ask now, everybody just loves your style when you guys come out. Now let's talk about the masks. Are those hockey goalie masks? Like, tell us the story. They are, okay.
Yeah.
Let us know about the mask, the story behind the mask.
Well, when we started the gimmick, that's what they made. They wanted us to take that off, and then they could see the painted face and the
after
tongue.
the Mad Max movie. They patented it after the Mad Max movie. Some of the things that, like the straps and things like that. So, and then it added to the gimmick, it added to the image. So we were very happy with the way it turned out.
Now I gotta ask now, the new generation of wrestling, New Day 2015-16 broke your all-time record for, I believe it was 483 days as tag champions. Now, like, who are your favorite current tag teams right now?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really follow it. One, it's on too late for me to stay up to watch it. And for years I haven't kept track of the personalities. So I'll be nice and say I don't know anything.
Yourself?
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, when we see like the Young Bucks, from AEW and a couple of those guys, and and it's just like I say, the tag teams aren't really tag teams anymore. Where the Young Bucks have been around now a long time.
Exactly.
There's a couple other ones, but
Yeah.
You got like FTR, perhaps, like really good tag team.
FTR,
Yes.
we were with them
Manchester.
in Manchester, England not too long ago. Great guys. But you know, like Bill, I don't really watch it a lot. We're on the road, and we don't have a whole lot of time to be watching it.
Now I gotta ask now, if there could be a dream match, anybody from the past and present, Demolition versus whoever it is, fans love to hear this, who would it be?
Boy, I don't know. You know, The Rock and Steve Austin. Wouldn't that be a fun one?
Oh, I'll buy a ticket for that right away.
Steve Austin.
Rock and Roll Express would have been good.
Yeah.
Rock Express for sure. Now I gotta ask, now everybody's been wondering, why have you guys been inducted into Hall of Fame? Like, it's just a non-stop, I'm sure you guys heard this 20 times. Like, I'm sure guys give it up, they should be in the Hall of Fame, hands down, right? Like,
Well, thank you. Yeah. You know, and I don't know, you know, how they figure out who goes in the Hall of Fame or what, but, you know, last year at WrestleMania, they invited us to WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame, and to sit out.
Not in it, just to watch it.
To watch it. And we were, you know, doing signings in Philadelphia, and another guy brought us in and paid to bring us in. So we didn't think it was very fair for us to go there when he brought us in. And you know, I wish they could have let us know, you know, way before that, but they didn't.
And we don't have any control over it. Like Barry said, we don't know the parameters, we don't know the qualifications. We just know that it's nice when the fans mention that we should be in it, so that's sort of our Hall of Fame.
we got us all Canadians behind you, that's for sure. Now I gotta say now, last question before we go to the Q&A with the fans. When it's all said and done, what do you want the fans to remember Demolition as?
Well, we'd like to be remembered as hardworking, trying to do our best in the ring, and we just appreciate this is really nice, because we would have never thought, you know, when you're thinking back, it's been many years, more sometimes than we think. So to be doing these things, and it's nice to sit and talk or take pictures and chat. We had some nice fans come up and show us pictures of years ago, and to make us realize that we made an imprint on their life. And it's very humbling, and we just do appreciate them following us and giving us support.
And yourself as well? Sums up whatever he said.
Well, it's exactly what he said. It's just, you just hope that the fans just look at you and say, these guys were hard working in the ring, and they had great matches, and you know, after the whole business, hopefully they think that we're pretty good guys, because I think we are. And you know, we're so grateful for the fans, because when we were heels, they hated us, and when we were baby faces, they loved us, and it's a great feeling when you walk out and the fans can appreciate, you know, what you've done in your life.
Exactly,
So
guys.
thank the fans.
Give it up for them guys right here. All right, guys, now we're gonna pass the mic around. Is there anybody that'd like to ask and smash your question? Anybody, guys? Oh, there we got one right there. If you don't mind, Merce, can you pass the mic on to him?
Yes, I have a good question. During your prime, were you surprised that you never had a feud or a legendary series of matches with the Legion of Doom?
Well, we had some scheduled with the Legion of Doom. Unfortunately, it was cut short. It was rushed too quickly, and we had conversations with them. They agreed the same thing. Yeah, we look forward to that. I think they would have done very well.
Yeah, I was very disappointed in the whole start, the way that happened. You know, when they came in, they didn't know what to do with them. They just said, hey, let's put them together with the Demolition, it would be great. Well, if they would have brought them in and had a little thought process on, you know, what, you know, kept us apart and worked at an angle or something to make it, I think it would have been a much bigger match, and it would have been a lot more fun. And you know, they were great guys to work with. They were, you know, I broke into business with them, so we were all friends and Bill's known them forever. But yeah, it could have been a lot better than it was.
All right, guys, they got a question right there.
Are you guys gonna write an autobiography?
One day I think we will. You know, it'd be kind of a fun deal, but you know, it's hard for Bill and I to get together all the time to do something like that, unless we start doing it here at the table or something. That's not a right, you know.
It's funny you ask me because we've both been asked that a number of times. And as my previous career as a mass superstar, a guy approached me and I said, well, he approached me. So finally I gave in. And he said, well, I'm going to call you every Sunday. We're just going to do it 2 hours every Sunday night. And that's it. We'll just take your time. So I did a couple Sundays, a couple more Sundays. And pretty soon on Friday, I'm saying, oh my goodness, Sunday's coming up. So I just put it away and I said, we'll get back to it later. Because it became another job.
And right now, I'm actually somebody doing that for me. And just like Bill was saying, you know, after about 10 hours of talking about your life and everything, it's like, well, now I got to, you know, next Thursday I got to do this again. And we're on the road Friday morning, so it's a tough deal to, you know, it might take a year or 2 years to finish it. So to get both of us together to do it, that's where there's just not enough time in the day. It's a tough one, but I would love to, you know. Bill's been, you know, I've been a mark for him, and he was Mad Superstar. And when you talk about the Hall of Fame, I thought he should have been in as the Mad Superstar. And it would be an honor to do one with him. You know?
Hope it's about time they put you in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. All right, guys. Now anymore? Got a question right over there. Mike is coming right there.
Do you have any good Powers of Pain stories?
Powers of Pain.
Other than the fact that they're both very good friends of ours, both people, both real good athletes. One thing they don't want to do is get smarter, you know. So, but they're both good guys, good friends of ours.
You know, and we were just with them a couple of weeks ago, and you know, a lot of times you see guys every month or 2 months or whatever, and you know, the Warlord, he's from Minnesota, and so I've known him for a long time. And Barbarian, you know, I first met him way back and watched his territory 40-some years ago. So we've all been friends for a long time. But when you don't see each other for a year or, you know, whatever it is, you see these guys and you hug and you start talking. It was just like you were with them yesterday. Yeah. And both those guys are such good guys that they're fun to be around.
Okay, say now a couple more questions, guys. We got one right back there.
All right, for me, guys. If you guys could add any super match now, like the guys today, present, before, anytime, what would have been that match that you guys didn't get to have?
I'll be honest. I think that we had a good career, and I don't have any regrets of anything. So I mean, of course, you always want to have one more, but I think we're too damn old to have one more.
Yeah, you know, and you look back at all the tag teams we already wrestled, we've already kind of had that. You know, and I suppose you look back when we wrestled Andre the Giant Baba in Tokyo. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than that. I mean, you got two giants who just wrestled. And, you know, I suppose that was it, you know.
I gotta say though, we seen Ric Flair come back a couple years ago. I'm pretty sure you guys are well had to come one more match.
My wife would kill me.
Right, the question right on that, right back there.
Is there one move that you guys enjoyed taking and enjoyed like actually doing, and one move you guys enjoyed performing on someone else?
You know, I didn't mind taking the suplex. I thought that was you know, and back then, that was kind of a move that everybody would, oh, you know, but really when you took that, it was very safe, whoever gave it to you, because you had a hold of your head and you landed flat on your back. And I think that would be one that, for me, taking was that. And then giving, you know, our finish was, it was a tough finish to give to people, but I thought we were really good at it. And it was dangerous on both of us, our finish. Because all the weight was on my knee, holding him, then Bill would have to come off, and to protect the guy, he would land on his hip. And then we'd have to throw him over. So, it was a great one to give to people, but it was hard on our bodies to protect people.
I'll agree. I think our finish was one of the we enjoyed giving. And as far as taking bumps, I didn't mind taking hardly any bump. Maybe a hip toss I enjoyed because it was easy, or somebody grabbed me in an arm bar and just standing there.
Yeah. But one of the worst things, though, that we went through was, and I can't remember who we were wrestling, but Vince came up to us and said, "Here's what I want you to do today," and he says, "I want Bill to come off. You give the finish on the floor."
Oh, yeah.
So I had to.
Martel and Tito in Oakland.
Oh yeah, and so he says, "I want Bill to come off, and I want you to be on the floor and have them in your finish." So Bill had to.
No mats.
Yeah, no mats.
That's cool.
So Bill had to climb up on the. He threw on the second rope,
Yeah.
just like he would have in the ring, but from the outside. And he came off, and hitting your hip from that high up, about killed him. And just the weight coming down on me about broke my leg, and then flipping them over, and they're hitting the floor, and not a controlled bump. I mean, it hurt all of us. That was probably the worst thing we've done.
Yeah, that was before they put the mat cover.
Yeah, and that was a bad one. And that was one where we probably should have said, "Hey, Vince, we can't do that one." But
I agree.
yeah.
Like I said, a couple more questions there and then right there. Glenn?
With the complete restructuring of WWE management, McMahon era being over and the new team here, how do you guys feel about the chance to get a Legends deal? Not just Hall of Fame, but in-games, merchandise, and the whole nine about that.
Well, it would be nice. I mean, we're not going to say no, but we've been fortunate this last couple of years. We've been approached by a number of, I think it's at least 5 and 6 action figure producers. We just got contacted the other day for our third video game. So it's nice both ways. I think that one of the things that has helped us is we're not under a contract. So that means we're free agents, because everything that goes through WWE, they're closed, or they won't let anybody participate. So we're sort of right on the fence, but we're making a better deal right now than we would with them.
And with Triple H in there now in charge, he's a really good guy, and I think he's doing the right things in that territory and everything. And for us to go on a Legends contract, it's like Bill's saying, there has to be a reason why you would really want to have a Legends contract. Right now, we're on our own. We can work as many times as we want, go all over the world, but it's hard right now. We got kids and grandkids, and just coming here, you get 3 days out of your life. And next week when we're in Buffalo, there's another 3 days, so you're only home for 4 days. So, why have a Legends contract? I mean, it'd be great if we said, "Hey, Bill, Gary, here's your contract." They look at him like, "Oh, all right, we're signing." But I don't think they do that anymore.
No.
Like I say, last question right there.
I was just wondering if you guys have any good Iron Sheik stories.
We knew the Sheik very well, but we never hung around him or anything. So, I don't really have any stories of him, but he was always good to us.
Saying it was a different time frame then, and a different atmosphere. We don't really associate with, like Harry had mentioned earlier, there's Fuji, myself, and him. We travel, and the Sheik and all these other guys. You have a close knit little community that you travel with. But the Sheik he was a unique character, and he was over. He was popular on the opposite end. He was so despised by the fans that he was so popular. Good guy, another guy that passed away, and we miss him.
And before he passed away, we were up in New York or something, and it was probably about, 2 months before he passed away or so. We said, hey, let's call up the Sheik. So we called him up at home, and he couldn't, really walk anymore, and he couldn't be on the road, but just us saying, Cheeky baby, how you doing and all that, I think he probably had tears in his eyes, because, just to hear from the guys, he couldn't be on the road anymore, but it was like he was with us in the back of the car, and I think, that was good.
Guys, I gotta say it's an honor. Absolute
Thank you.
legends. Guys, give it up for the legendary Axe and Smash Demolition! Thank you, sir.